Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Options Professor podcast. This is Damien, and today is Sunday, June 27th. So I haven't posted lately in the past couple of weeks. I've just been traveling, but I wanted to give a recap quickly of over the past 2 weeks. So up on the screen here, I've got my actual results from the spread trades that I've been alerting, that I've been making throughout the weeks, past couple of weeks. As you can see here, pretty consistent as usual. The two debit spreads this week between NET and RBLX performed really well. They were very short-term holds, maybe only 3 or 4 days in those debit spreads and getting out Thursday or Friday. So on Monday, out Thursday or Friday. And then the credit spreads have just been pretty consistent. The only one loser I had was mRNA. I don't know if you guys remember, but maybe a week and a half ago, they had some bad news on potential COVID vaccine side effects. And so they had dropped and I got out just to try to limit my risk. But if you take a look at this, they've been holding the levels, not a problem. So let's hop into this week's watch list, because I think we can find some winners here going into the next week or 2 weeks. And, just as a reminder, I'm only looking at week to week. So preferably stuff that's expiring this coming Friday or next Friday, and not really looking beyond that. Okay. I really don't want news to interrupt the patterns that I'm taking a look at. So the very first stock on the bullish side, and I will have some bearish stocks as well on this watch list. So the first one is Home Depot, HD. And I'm kind of watching this, the moving average. This is the 200 moving average. It just crossed over. So hopefully it can stay above this. The 200 moving average is right at 312. And down below it, you can see the 50 moving average moving up. Okay. These are just simplified indicators that I have in my charts. My actual charts are much more busier than this. I've got a ton of other indicators I'm looking at, but I'm trying to simplify this for the sake of these watch lists. Otherwise, this would be much more than a 10-minute video. Okay. So I'm watching Home Depot. I'd like it to hold this 312 or even 310. So 310 is a great level to potentially get a put credit spread for it to stay above, okay, with range potentially coming back up to this 318 level here. So Home Depot, hopefully stay above this 200 moving average for the next 5 days. Number 2 on the list for our bullish stocks is LYFT, LYFT. And I looked at both LYFT and Uber. LYFT looks a little bit better from a pattern. Again, we're in this uptrend. Okay, so if you guys follow Ichimoku Cloud, it is in an uptrend according to the Ichimoku Cloud. It's also following this 50 moving average, and I like it to stay above the 50 moving average. So even though the 50 moving average is still moving up, right now it's at the 60. And so if we can get credit at the 60 level, and as you can see here, 60 was previous resistance, and as soon as it broke through, the resistance now becomes support. So I like the 60 level. We'll take a look at that to see if I can get good enough credit to make a play here. It does have range to power a little bit higher, maybe even up to 65, possibly. All right, but my Keltner band has it holding at just over 63, as we'll hit some resistance. All right, number 2, sort of in the same field, is Dash. DASH. Very similar pattern, upward trend. And again, the 50 moving average is going to hopefully act as support here. It's right now at 172.50. Not a bad area to potentially hold 172.50 or even 170. Again, this is a risk reward depending on how much credit I can get with the put credit spreads. Okay, but it's got range up to the 185 level, which is right here, 185. And hopefully it can still trade sideways. And if I do have a put credit spread, it's going to make money. Or it could move up to the 185 level. Okay, so this red candle here Friday doesn't bother me yet, but we'll see what happens as the market opens in the morning. All right, next stock on the bullish list, NTNX. And obviously we played this one in the past. Very, very similar. I've already got my line in here. This is the level we had played before, which is 37.50. I think this is moving up. All right, so if we could still get the 37.50, I'll take it. I think it's still going to hold inside of this range. not as big of an uptrend as the other two stocks we just took a look at. So if it could hold, maybe 38, maybe 37.50, depending on where the strikes are, with range up to 41. Okay, so I'll be watching this to play in here and then maybe stay to the upside. Again, if we're looking at a TTM, I can see a TTM squeeze just starting. Okay, so that's what I'll be watching. We'll be watching this price action. And then the last one I have on the bullish list is Snow. And again, Snow, we're quite familiar with. It is in a very small uptrend, but it's staying above this 50 moving average. It dipped below Friday, so I'll keep an eye on it. I do like it at this 240 level to hold, because this is where the 200 moving average is. So 200 moving average is down here at the 240. We also have support here at, maybe at the 247.50 level where the 50 moving average is. So we'll see what happens if it can hold this 50 moving average. If it starts to hold, then it looks like it potentially could go up and then maybe even run up to the 260 level. Okay, so that's it for the bullish stocks. And like I said, I always like to look for the bearish ones, the ones that might move downwards or have resistance. The first one is MCD, McDonald's. And if you take a look at McDonald's, we can see here it just dipped below both the 50 and the 200 moving average. I got a negative TTM. So for me, maybe holding this 233 is kind of cutting it close. But if I can get credit at 234, 235, 235 is ideal, because you can see here it actually hit resistance at 235. So again, it just depends on how much credit I can get on the call side, call credit spread. And it's got range, obviously, down to 230. So it was trading in the 230 range last week. So it can potentially come back down to 230. So this is the range I'm looking at. It hopefully stay below these moving averages and get a great credit spread there. Number two on the bearish side is EA. And same thing. EA has just been in this downward trend. Just been moving downwards, and it's below the 50 and the 200. Now, I like when the 50 crosses below the 200, it gives me an indicator that, okay, this is probably continuing to move downwards. So this is not, the 50 has not turned up yet. Maybe 140 being a level of resistance, which is where the 50 moving average is. And it just depends on how much credit I can get. But it does have range all the way down potentially to right here, 136, which is slightly off screen. Okay, so we got a $4 range to work with, and hopefully it stays in here in the next 5 days. And then the very last stock I've got on the watch list, and I'm sorry if I'm moving really quick, but I just don't want these videos to drag on, is DHI. And they're a builder, so we can see here that it just crossed below this 50 moving average. Okay, it's just cross below it, so I'm going to watch this for it to be resistance now. But even still, we've got the 200 moving average right above it at 91. So 91 would be the level I'd like to play for resistance, and then range down to 87. So probably right here, 87. And again, it just has to move sideways if we're doing credit spreads, because we're selling credit at specific key levels, and so this 200 moving average would be the ideal location. Obviously, I'm not going to know on the Sunday night where the actual credit will be, so I'll take a look as the markets open in the morning. All right, so that is the watch list for this week. Obviously, the past 2 weeks have been pretty successful with that one red trade in mRNA, Moderna. But hopefully you guys trade green this week, and we will be back Friday for a recap. Thanks. Have a great week.